Well, it's a seller's market. There's no question about it. Here we are at the tail end of 2021, almost approaching December. I'm sort of midway through November here. And I'm looking at the marketplace, and I look at it on a daily basis because, obviously that's my job. So I'm watching what we call the daily hot sheet. And it does nothing but boggle my mind on a daily basis because new highs are hit all the time. And you kind of start to wonder, where is this thing going to go? And certainly when I have conversations with friends and family and, of course, clients about what's going on in the real estate market, a lot of people express a lot of frustration, especially if they're buyers, because they can't really get a handle on how to buy real estate in today's market. Because the trend these days seems to be that sellers price their homes below market value and then create almost a feeding frenzy or an auction type atmosphere for people to buy that property in this particular marketplace. So you've got, upwards to 10, 20, 30, sometimes 40 showings a day, depending on how much time constraints there are on each individual showing. And, you've got all kinds of buyers going through the property, and then they have a selected offer day that they're going to entertain offers. Saw some people on social media, colleagues of mine, post that, they were up against 5 offers, 10 offers, 20 offers. Somebody posted the other day they had a buyer in the 800 range and they were up against 27 offers. And that's still going on today, and it's really frustrating buyers. And I can tell that they're almost at their wits' end. But really, you can't really blame sellers for doing it, because at the end of the day, this is what's going to get them top dollar for their property. Because had they priced their properties at the prices that they actually end up selling at, there was no way these properties would probably sell. But because, you've got this auction type atmosphere, the market takes the price level, to a whole new level. So here we are in the midst of, a constantly rising market, and, people obviously expressing concern about this whole blind bidding process. And I don't know that is going to go away anytime too soon, because realistically, from a seller's perspective, it really would put them at a disadvantage if, all of a sudden blind bidding went away, because now you see the bids that you're up against and you wouldn't get, some of those real high bids coming in. So why would a seller want to disadvantage themselves in the marketplace? It doesn't make sense. I think the biggest thing here, more than anything, after 35 years in the business, is I've always felt up to now that regardless of if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, the buyer always had some sort of control over the transaction. Obviously, in a buyer's market, they have a lot of control because clearly insert contingencies, contingent on home inspection or financing and that sort of thing. And then, of course, there would be games being played again at the 11th hour to negotiate the price down even further before the conditions were waived. Well, with this new approach, the buyer loses control of the transaction. I should say the seller gains control of the transaction, because now they can make demands of no contingencies, higher deposits, and of course they can pit the buyers against each other rather than try and negotiate toe-to-toe with the buyer and just let the winner sort of take victory and, obviously come up with the highest price. So, realistically, I understand why buyers are frustrated, but at the end of the day, it's all about control, and the control is in the hands of the seller. So, that's what we're faced with today. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Certainly as a homeowner, I wouldn't want it to change. As a buyer, I probably would. But I've bought a few homes over the last 12 months, and I totally get it. I understand your frustration, and you got to take your lumps. That's just kind of the way it goes. Fortunately, the market has continued to go up. So, some of the transactions that I got involved in, I felt that I probably overpaid in a couple of situations. But, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because the market came up high enough that now I'm in a situation where my equity is higher than that crazy price that I thought I paid for the property. So at the end of the day, that's the way things play out. Is there a way for buyers to sort of try and take control of the situation? It's pretty tough, but I would say the big thing more than anything else is if you're a buyer, always try and make a bully offer or a preemptive offer. Because as I had mentioned, most of these sellers have offer days that they entertain offers on. And I would advise, if I'm working with a buyer, don't wait for that day. Even if the listing says they're not taking bully offers, try anyway. And keep in mind, you're going to have to make these people an offer they can't refuse. So you're still going to pay top dollar for the property, but you'll have potentially less competition, because if the property goes on the market, say for 7 days, you look at it at day one and you're thinking, I want to make an offer, so I'll wait for offer day. Trust me, make the offer now, because there's going to be far more competition in 7 days than there is in day one. And don't be goofy and come in with a low price. Come in with a strong offer, no contingencies, and hopefully your seller will entertain that offer. Now, again, don't be foolhardy. If you can't keep these promises, don't do it. Make sure you've had a good conversation with your mortgage professional, making sure that you have the financial capacity to pull this off. And of course, speak with your real estate agent to make sure that if you've got something to sell, that you have a realistic number as to what you need to get in order to make this transaction work. So don't put yourself in a pickle where all of a sudden you're going to give somebody a deposit and then, breach on the contract because you can't come through on your promise. So be very, very careful. That's my 2 cents for today. And, I know it's a tough market out there. Sellers, congratulations for taking control of the market. Buyers, do the best you can and make those bully offers. And hopefully you'll be able to land yourself into a house sooner than later. We'll talk to you later. This is Walter Monteiro with the Real Estate and Mortgage Show. We'll talk to you later.